Good day, everyone. This is Jason Santos. And for today, we will continue discussing Business Math, Chapter 3, Part 1, Mark on, Mark up, and Mark down. We are now at the buying and selling content under the most essential learning competencies from the grade 11 Business Mathematics curriculum. The terms mark up, mark down, and mark on are commonly thrown in the business language. Now, we will learn when to use all of these terms and how to apply them in a real-life business setting. Proper pricing of merchandise is very important. It is a principle in retail business wherein wrong pricing or even misconception of value can drive customers away, and we don't want that to happen. This can ultimately lead to loss of business. And this is the reason why it is very critical for us to know when to adjust the prices, whether we will go up or we will go down. Markup. Businesses buy products at the cost price and then mark up the products to cover the expenses or overhead of the running business and then the desired profits. The sum of cost plus markup gives the selling price. And then the markup is also referred to as margin or gross profit. Next, we have what we call a markdown. It means a reduction in the selling price of an item or service in order to stimulate demand and take parts in its competition. So, to put it simply, you use markup when you are trying to elevate the price of a certain good or a commodity, while you use markdown when you are trying to pull down the price of a certain product or a commodity. Now, it serves different purposes. It might be to compete with a new business or a direct competitor, or just to get rid or dispose of some goods that are no longer adding value to the business. Nevertheless, it is critical when to use markup or markdown in the business. And lastly, we have mark-on that serves as an umbrella term for the two. Mark-on means the amount added by the seller to the cost of the commodity to cover expenses and profit in fixing the selling price. The equation in getting the markup works in many ways, and you can actually rotate it. If you wanted to find out what is the markup, all you would have to do is deduct cost from the selling price. So let's say we have a face shield that costs 40 pesos and then we are selling it for 50 pesos. Our markup is 10 pesos. Now, if you wanted to find out the selling price, which is represented by S, all you have to do is add up the cost plus the markup. So the cost is 40 pesos and then you added 10 pesos for its markup. Thus, our selling price is going to be 50. Now, if what we're trying to find is cost represented by letter C, all you have to do is deduct markup from the selling price. So selling price is equals to 50 minus 10 of markup. Thus, we will have the cost of 40 pesos. So the rate for markup can be derived from two different areas such as cost and selling price. If we are going to get the rate of markup from the cost, it's going to be RC is equals to M or markup over the cost times 100%. But if we are going to get the markup from the selling price, it is going to be rate over S or RS equals to markup divided by the selling price times 100%. Also here on the right side of my screen, you can see a pyramid that depicts the formula for the markup. All you would have to remember is that these three work in congruence with the other. So let's say I'm looking for rate. All I would have to do is divide my markup by the cost or selling price. Now, if I am looking for cost or selling price, all I would have to do is divide markup by the rate. Now finally, if I'm looking for the markup, all I would have to do is multiply rate by cost and or selling price. Example that is very applicable nowadays because of the pandemic. A lot of people are staying at home and then taking care of plants as their leisure or a way to pass time. So let's say we have a store that sells a plant for 150 pesos, and then after adding 30 pesos of markup, here are the things that we have to know. What is the cost of the plant? And then letter B, what is the rate of the markup on cost? So first, we have to determine the cost of the plant. In order for us to do that, we would have to get the two givens, which is 150, which is the selling price, and then 30 pesos, which is the markup. And then again, based from our formulas earlier, cost is equals to S minus M. So therefore, it is going to be 150 minus 30 pesos. Thus, our answer is going to be 120 pesos. Now, that is going to be the answer for letter A. The cost of the plant is 120 pesos. But what is the rate of cost? And that is the question for letter B, rate of markup on cost. So based from our formula earlier, we can get rate of markup on cost by dividing markup by cost. So we divide 30 pesos by 120 pesos, we will get 0.25 or 25%. So that means that 30 pesos is 25% of the overall cost based on the rate. The cost of the plant is 120 pesos and then the rate of markup on cost is 25%. If you would like to double check, use the formula and multiply rate by cost, which is reflected again in our pyramid earlier. So if we would multiply the rate, which is 0.25 or 25%, and then we multiply that with the cost, okay, which is 120, we should be able to get 30 pesos. Second example, let's have this. A kilo of chicken costs 140, marked up by 35% based on cost. Perhaps there is bird flu or any other avian diseases that's causing the price of the chicken to go up. Now, let us try to find out what is the amount of the markup and what is the selling price. So cost is equals to 140 based from the given, and then the markup is 35%. So that is going to be 0.35 C, because again, as stated in the given, this is based on cost. We have to be very careful with that because the rate can be based from selling, the selling price. Now this is based from the cost. So if we would like to find out the markup, all we have to do is, again, based from our pyramid, multiply the rate times the cost, which is 0.35 times 140. Thus, we will have an answer of 49 pesos. That is the amount of the markup. Now, after determining the amount of the markup, we can now proceed on getting the selling price. The selling price is equals to cost plus the markup. So, let's have 140 plus 49. The answer for that is going to be 189 pesos. So see, when you added 35% increase or markup from a chicken that costs 140 pesos, your selling price now is going to be 189 pesos. So markup is 49, selling price is 189. Now to double check, use the formula and divide markup by cost, which is again shown in our pyramid. Your answer should be rate of 35. Going back to our given. We can use this activity if you are planning to do this in your class. Here is a table that you can give to your students and have them fill out the blanks or complete the entire table by filling up the blanks. If you would like to know the answers to this, you can send me a message directly or shoot me an email, which will be on my description box. That wraps up the first part of our discussion for buying and selling. I hope you stay tuned for the next installment or next part of this discussion where I will be covering markdown and give you examples on how to compute it. As always, feel free to follow me on all the channels stated herein: YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or send me a direct message if you have questions or concerns. Please like and subscribe to my channel as a way of supporting this. With that, thank you so much. I hope you have learned something for today, and to God be all the glory. Till my next video.